$2 billion of sales in just 2 minutes. China's Singles Day sales shattered records all over the weekend. So, how did the online sale become so successful, and how are Australian businesses cashing in on the $35 billion phenomenon?
That's the big question. Brian Walker, CEO of the Retail Doctor Group, joins us. Brian, how big are we talking here with
Chris,
Singles Day?
So we're talking enormous. Started in 1993 in China to celebrate being single. In fact, Bachelor's Day, and the derivation of the term means bare branch on the tree. But today it's far more bountiful. In fact, $35 billion sales and single day, extraordinary. When you look at our Australian retail economy, we're about 320 billion. So in other words, over 12% of the Australian retail economy was done in one day. It's phenomenal.
I mean, 10 years. Are you surprised at how big it has become?
So it echoes, doesn't it, the growth of the Alibabas and the Amazons of this world. You know, Amazon, trillion market cap company, phenomenal growth. Slowed a little bit this year. It's been growing at about 39 to 40% year-on-year growth, thanks to the American-Chinese issues with Mr. Trump and so forth. It's slowed down a little bit to 27%. But who wouldn't want 27% growth, eh?
And it seems like such an odd reason to shop just because everybody else is doing it. I mean, what are the incentives that make people spend $35 billion in a day?
Oh, it's extraordinary. And you look at the sort of the top 10 imports, and in amongst there we're seeing from the Chinese importing in vitamins, milk products, baby products, facial products, extraordinary demand. And it was interesting too to see that the growth of this is really across China. So moving out from the urban areas to the less developed areas. So everyone's busy getting on board.
Those products you mentioned, milk products, vitamins, those are ones that Australians do quite well.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen a big boom in your Blackmores and your A2 milks and things like that. Are they the kinds of companies that are really cashing in here?
Absolutely. I mean, if we look at Swiss, Bio Island, have a look at A2 milk, New Zealand product, but on the ASX, phenomenal growth. We've only got to look at Blackmore's growth in the last period of time to see the correlation between the growth of online and the growth of these brands. The Chinese simply, through this mechanism, can't get enough.
I mean, are we doing enough in Australia? Or should more companies be falling over themselves to get involved in this sort of sale?
Well, I think, you know, their success attracts others and we'll start to see growth. But, you know, Swiss, for example, top 10 in the Australian, has a pretty good mortgage on this. They've got a strong business. Yeah, look, I think we'll see more, there's no doubt. Phenomenal numbers.
Let's take a closer look at what the big ticket items were. Where was the biggest spend?
Oh, it was in those items. It was very much in that cosmetics, vitamins were the call-out. Vitamins were the big call-out. And baby products and facial products.
Which shows it's not about singles anymore, does it? They're not buying for babies.
That's right. Exactly.
How can it sort of continue to grow and evolve? What will Singles Day
Well,
become?
Singles Day is actually a month-long celebration. So in that effect, you know, we're going to see more focus on the celebration aspects, more range being offered. And as Alibaba in particular gets more and more dominant, which it will on its growth trajectory, this will be a bigger and bigger event. But just remarkable numbers. And when you look at the local sort of content, and even in the US, for example, with Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and they're lucky to be 5% of this volume. You know, it's remarkable.
Brian, with retail and sales in general, I suppose it's all about urgency. So this idea that you can only get this special deal right now, you have to buy it right now. So what are the scale of the discounts that we're seeing?
Oh, it's phenomenal. I mean, the discounts advertised, and this is always the interesting thing because, you know, we're seeing 90% off products. That's quite typical. The question is, how many products do the retailers actually have? So then we get into this whole loss leaders piece. Right. So it's fairly thin pickings once you get past the top 10, 15% of purchases. So if we look at Singles Day, those retailers like Swiss and so forth have geared up for a year for this. If we look at some of the local stuff like Click Frenzy, it tends to be much more reaction, impulse. Retailer has a certain line, they've got a clear stock, and that's how they'll do it.
Do you think people will start sort of changing their shopping habits around these big days, thinking, I want to buy a TV, but I'm going to wait till there's a Click Frenzy or
Yeah, it's absolutely. The Australian Click Frenzy had 2.7 million visits you know, which is big for our country. Look, I think there's people watching very closely and researching. The challenge, of course, is will the technology, which has been a bit of an issue for ClickFrenzy, will that maintain, will that support? And is there enough of these real bargains to go forward?
It's what the Boxing Day sales sort of used to be, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, we're not short of a sale in this country, are we? You know, when you think of the physical sales and the online sales, and everyone's on sale.
Yeah, who'd ever pay full price for anything?
That's it, isn't it? I guess there is that question of, well, can Australian retailers, normal small and medium businesses, learn anything from this colossal event that is Chinese Singles Days? I mean, can you sort of put all your eggs in one basket like that if you're a normal retailer?
No, because ultimately what we're talking with sort of the Alibaba Amazonian model, it's a fulfillment model. So it's all about having the systems and the processes to get product to people. And it's done purely on scale at much lower margins. So the less of the product you actually distribute, the higher your margin needs to be. And the infrastructural costs of Australian retail are such that you have to get exponential volume in order to justify it, and there's just not enough scale.
And when we see those sorts of sales in Australia, there are often problems with websites crashing and that sort of thing, which we didn't see in Singles Day.
Absolutely. It's remarkable, the process and the machines and the systems of an Alibaba. It's beautiful engineering. Here, ClickFrenzy, which, you know, was a good initiative, is a good initiative, has been sort of beset with problems around non-supply, and I know they're trying to deal with it. It speaks to another issue about how much capital has gone into Australian retail in terms of the infrastructure required to do this.
All right, well, we'll all make sure we've got our mouses at the ready next time. Brian Walker from the Retail Doctor Group, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks very much, Chris. Hi, I'm Brian Walker, CEO and founder of Retail Doctor Group. To succeed in today's fast-paced change of retail, talk with us or visit retaildoctor.com.au.